All right, let's talk about one of the coolest features in the serverless world, AWS Lambda extensions. This is all about how you can add powerful capabilities like observability and security to your functions without ever having to touch your core code. We're going to see how you can seriously supercharge your serverless apps.
So let's just start with a question that I bet a lot of you have faced. You've got your Lambda function, it's doing its job perfectly, but now you need to add some critical monitoring, or maybe some security scanning. How do you do that without cracking open your business logic and cluttering it all up? Well, that is the exact problem that Lambda extensions were built to solve.
So what is a Lambda extension, really? The best way to think about it is like a little helper, a companion process that runs right there alongside your function. It's kind of like a dedicated assistant that you can give all the extra jobs to, sending off telemetry, checking for vulnerabilities. This lets your main function code stay clean, lean, and just laser-focused on its one core job.
Okay, so we've got the basic what. Now let's dig into the how these extensions really do supercharge your Lambda functions.
The most common uses are all about integrating the tools you probably already use and love, but without bloating your actual function code. I'm talking about things like automatically shipping metrics to your favorite observability platform, or running a quick security scan on a file someone just uploaded, or maybe even fetching the latest configuration or secrets before your function even starts. See, it's all about separating those operational concerns from your business logic.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Extensions come in two main flavors, internal and external. An internal one runs as a separate thread inside your function's runtime. But an external extension, and this is the big deal, runs as a totally separate, independent process. And that means two huge things. One, it can be written in a completely different language than your function. And two, it can actually keep running even after your function has finished its work and returned a response.
But there's a really crucial point to remember here. Extensions aren't free when it comes to performance. They're sharing that same execution environment, which means they use the very same CPU and memory that you've allocated to your function. So if you have a really compute-heavy extension, it could absolutely impact your function's execution time and, of course, your bill.
Okay, so we know what they do. Now let's go a level deeper. Let's peel back the curtain and see how they actually work inside that Lambda execution environment.
This timeline pretty much shows you the whole dance. The Lambda lifecycle has three main phases. First up is init. This is where the whole environment gets created. And here's the key. Your extensions are downloaded and initialized before your own function code even gets a chance to run. Then you have the invoke phase. Your function handler gets called, and your extensions are running right there in parallel with it. And finally, you've got shutdown, where the environment is about to be torn down, and your extensions get a nice little heads up so they can do any last-minute cleanup.
And here it is. This is the absolute game changer. During that invoke phase, after your function has done its work and sent a response back to the user, that external extension can keep on running. What does that mean? Well, it can handle all the heavy lifting, like sending detailed logs or batching up metrics completely out of band. It doesn't add a single millisecond of latency to your user's experience. That's huge.
Now, understanding the lifecycle is cool, but here's the good news. You don't have to manage all this stuff by yourself. Let's get practical and look at the huge ecosystem of pre-built extensions that are ready to go.
Honestly, the best part is that you almost never need to build these things from scratch. There's a massive partner ecosystem out there, all the big names you're probably already using. Observability platforms like Datadog, New Relic, Splunk, secrets managers like HashiCorp Vault, even AWS's own tools like AppConfig and Lambda Insights. It's all designed to be a simple plug-and-play experience.
And adding one is surprisingly easy because they're packaged up as Lambda layers. Those zip archives of code or data. So in the console, you just go to your function, find the layers section, and add a new one. All you do is paste in the ARN, that unique Amazon resource name, for the extension you want. That's literally it. Lambda takes care of the rest.
But what if there isn't a pre-built extension that does exactly what you need? Well, that's where the real fun begins, and that brings us to our final section, building your very own.
When you decide to build a custom extension, you're going to be interacting with two main APIs. First is the Extensions API. Think of this as the control plane. It lets your extension hook into those lifecycle events we just talked about, the init, invoke, and shutdown. Then you have the Telemetry API. This is your data plane. This is how your extension can literally subscribe to a real-time firehose of logs, metrics, and traces coming straight from the Lambda platform itself.
And hey, just a quick pro tip here. There is an older Logs API, but the Telemetry API is the modern, recommended way to get all that rich observability data. So if you're building a new extension today, this is definitely the API you want to be using. It's just way more powerful.
And this quote from the AWS docs just perfectly sums up the flexibility you get. Because extensions run as separate processes, you can write them in a different language than the function. Just think about that. Your main function could be written in Python, but you could write a super high-performance telemetry extension in Go or Rust. It's an incredible amount of power.
So there you have it. Lambda extensions give you this really clean, decoupled way to beef up your functions. You can either plug in a tool you already know, or you can build a totally custom solution for your unique problem. It's all about letting you separate those operational tasks from your core business logic, which leads to cleaner, more focused, and more maintainable code. So the real question to leave you with is, what will you build with your first extension?